Feeling like a little late night snack or a little nice healthy dessert after dinner? Well, my wife has come to the rescue once again. A nice recipe from Amy. These are the Paleo chocolate chip cookies. I think you'll really enjoy these. Take no minute. I mean, like sometimes we'll actually make these at night if we have a little craving for something. We'll like whip them together in 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. It's really, really cool. So we have almond flour, which we're gonna use as the base. So I'm gonna use 2.5 cups of almond flour. So I'm gonna say that this is about a cup. And I'm just gonna use that as my measuring cup today. And this is our little almond flour bag. So that's going in there, 2.5 cups. Next, we're gonna add in a little bit of salt. So about that's good. I'm gonna turn on the stove because we're gonna melt some coconut butter. You'll notice that a lot of these dessert recipes call for melted coconut oil. And coconut butter, coconut oil, I tend to use the term interchangeably. So we're looking for 1/4 cup of melted, just gonna double check, 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil, which is correct. And one of the nice things about having this cookbook is that you can have it as reference points. So when you're watching the videos, you can look and be like, you know what, Yuri, I think you're a little bit off there. So at least you know the correct ratios if you're following the recipe to a T. Which, as you know, I don't necessarily do all the time. Okay, so coconut oil is in. It's going to be melting because we're gonna be putting it into the mixture here. And what else? We're gonna be putting in some baking soda. We're gonna be putting in a little teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just gonna grab a little spoon or a really big one. And we'll call that about 1/2 teaspoon. That's in there. I'm gonna grab a fork so we can whisk all this up or kind of mix it all. We're not really whisking, we're gonna mix it all together. Okay. Next, we're gonna put in some vanilla. So we're looking at about a tablespoon of vanilla extract. That looks about right. And we're gonna put in 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I have agave with me, so that's what we're gonna use. And I'm just gonna eyeball this. So that is about 1/4 cup. So again, there's a little bit more sugar in this kind of dessert than a lot of the other ones. So you don't wanna go crazy with this, but you know, again, agave, I would use it sparingly. I tend to enjoy maple syrup a little bit better, but agave does have a very low glycemic index, so it's not gonna spike your blood sugar. Oops, there we go. I had the wrong burner on. Okay, so we're gonna let this kind of come together slowly but surely. And once we get the coconut oil melted, we're gonna add that into this mixture. And then what we're gonna do is, while we're waiting, is I'm gonna take this good old paper towel. I'm gonna kind of lubricate it up with some coconut oil. I don't have any parchment paper on me, so I'm gonna just lubricate the cooking sheet. And what I'm trying to do with kind of not having some of this stuff is to give you ideas and options to help you kind of have alternative routes to making stuff work if you don't have parchment paper or if you don't have measuring cups, you know, stuff like that. So there are workarounds to all this kind of stuff. So hopefully you're finding that helpful. Okay, so while we're waiting, we might as well just put in some chocolate chips. So again, these are our semi-sweet Fair Trade Camino chocolate chips. And that is good. So in general, baking with almond flour is amazing. It actually adds a really nice level of moisture. So for cookies, you'll find that they come out a little bit softer than a kind of a hard wheat-based cookie, which is okay. But for cakes and cupcakes and muffins, almond flour is amazing because it gives a natural moisture to that final product that you just can't get without almond flour. It's incredible. So it is a lot of fun to use. Okay, so we'll get the melted coconut oil. We're gonna pour that in. And now we're gonna mix it all up. And hopefully it should all be coming together. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of get in there with my hands and I'm gonna make, so you can see it kind of starting to come together. I'm gonna get in there with my hands in a moment and I'm going to form these little guys into cookies. You can also use a spoon if you don't like getting your hands dirty. So this is already, you know, a nice kind of mushy bolus. And this will make us, depending on how big, you can make one massive cookie if you wanted to. Kind of surprise your kids with that, or yourself. Or this will make about, I'd say about 4 good sized cookies, maybe 6. So let's get in there and make some magic happen. So the oven is preheated at 350. That's where we're going next. So I'm going to take a good little, you know, amount like that. I'm just going to roll it into a little ball. Okay. And then I'm just going to place it on the baking sheets. So I'll take another meatball size, you know, roll, and then we'll kind of flatten that down. And we've got 2. You can try different sizes. You can go small, you can go big. It depends, whatever you want to do. You'll notice that your hands get all oily, and that's because of the coconut oil. So when you wash your hands afterwards, you're going to need soap, because the soap will emulsify the fat. If you just do it with water, you're not going to really get far. And let's go for 5. So we got 5 cookies here, different sizes. And this will go into the oven at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. And what you can do is actually with a fork is just kind of test it at about the 15-minute mark. So if you put the fork in, you stick it in, and it comes out with some of the mixture still on it, then you know you need a couple more minutes. But there we go. So we're going to throw that in the oven, give it some time, and then we'll come back and give it a taste. Cool? So our cookies are ready. I have to kind of apologize because I said 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. I was actually thinking of another recipe. These are about 8 to 10. As you can tell, they've browned nicely and they're still soft. And this is what almond flour does. So it's still soft even though it looks well done. And they've been sitting in there for a little bit. So I'm going to just open one up and take a bite. You can do the same at home. There we go, amazing. Add them in, you can kind of like dip them into some almond milk if you want. If you want to do the whole kind of chocolate chip cookie and milk thing. But a little bit well done. So if they get brown, you know that they're just past where they should be. So they should not be brown unless you like them a little bit well done. Either way, they're awesome. And there we go, our paleo chocolate chip cookies. There's a nice healthy dessert for you. Enjoy.